Morning, YouTubers. Sunday morning speculation. Because I'm from the United States, most of you know that. I have subscribers that are from other countries. So our recent president, he ran on a platform of cleaning the swamp, among other things. And it's an interesting thing, you know. He has to physically clean the swamp and shake the trees, and I think it's created a certain amount of fear. But unfortunately, we had an event, and it's been pretty hard not to be aware of it in this country over the last week or so, of a Supreme Court nominee that was accused of sexual misconduct, and it's been a very freaky event here in the United States. Now, if you're somebody like myself that tries to stay in the middle of the road so that I can look at things from both sides of the equation, both sides of the line, it's been kind of a very peculiar ride. You have people that are extreme to one side or the other. But the problem is the people that have been extremely supportive of Dr. Ford has been ignorant of looking at the events that are actually on record and not the events that aren't. Now, I do believe that something definitely happened to her 35 years ago. And who knows whether it really was Kavanaugh or somebody else. I mean, who really knows? Nobody is ever going to be able to figure this out. The evidence against Kavanaugh is zero. I mean, you know, when you have accusations gone to all kinds of famous people, you know, there's always people that show up and say, oh yeah, oh yeah. And there has been no, oh yeah, with Kavanaugh. You know, he's had so many women, people working for her. I'm sorry, there's so many women working for him as an attorney, as judges, as these judgeships that he's had in the past. So many different places. Nobody has come forward and said, yeah, he doesn't look at me right. He says weird comments. Can you imagine growing up with an attorney like his mother would practice her closing arguments at the kitchen table every night? I mean, it's like, usually teenagers are really stupid people. Generally speaking, they do stupid things and they say, I never thought it would have happened. It wasn't my fault. Usually it wasn't my fault. But how can you sit at a kitchen table hearing about all these stupid things people do every single day, and then turn around and do something stupid like go to a party and, you know, and think that nobody's gonna, you know, say, yeah, he did it? Nobody's gonna talk about it at school? I mean, we've been trying to stop bullying in schools for 100 years. You know, there's no way you can have events like this go on at a party that are shared by other students and nobody talks about it the next day. That doesn't show up in yearbooks. It doesn't show up in bathroom walls. Can you imagine? I can't imagine. I can't imagine such like this could be kept secret for 35 years and nobody has talked about it. I do believe that something happened to her. I believe people have been manipulating her from the moment she opened her mouth in that psychologist's office. And ever since then, people have been manipulating her and using her for this particular moment in time. That's what I believe from my little stance on my little mountain. I don't know. It's really kind of hard to tell. But the odd thing is that politicians, most politicians in this country, they're all lawyers. They're not all lawyers, but most of them are lawyers. They had to sit through that very first class in lawyer school and talked about, yeah, why isn't this recording? It has a recording button. Well, I'm just going to see if it does record. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, well, they all had to sit in the lawyer school about evidence that you can't prosecute most of the time without evidence. Here we have somebody who says, oh, he did it, but has no supporting evidence. Doesn't know a location. Doesn't know anything. If you listen to people calling in, people that have been abused, they know something about a location. And I can tell you that firsthand, that I remember the location. I remember who it was, and I remember the location. There weren't any witnesses, but I remember where it happened. And I'll leave it there. So, but the funny thing is, to me, is that, attorneys, politicians, we just had an ex-governor in our state of Massachusetts, which I have a lot of respect for, and he's had to come out and say, oh, look, I believe her. A governor of a state. I believe her because she has to be true. Well, guess who I won't be voting for president? If I have any kind of luck, it'll be voting for a guy that's in office right now. But, I don't know. I won't know until I'm behind that curtain. If we had curtains in our voting center. But it's a funny thing. The cleaning of the swamp he doesn't even have to do a cleaning of the swamp because the tree is being shook this week, and every politician that has stood up and said, I believe her when there's no evidence, I don't believe him that has tons of evidence supporting his claim. Tons of evidence. I believe her. And those are the people that we don't vote for, is the people that think that they can. That's just like saying, I heard that a large foreign power just blew up a little town in I don't know, East Asia. So we've got to go and attack them because I heard it. I don't have physical evidence. I don't have video. Nobody took it on their cell phone. Nobody, there's nothing on satellite. There's no smoke. But because I heard it, I'm going to push that red button and blow up that country. You want those kind of people in office? I don't want those kind of people in office. Do I have a choice? Unfortunately, these people, this deep state, I don't know if the deep state exists, but it sure seems like it. They threaten, they manipulate. You say, you say I believe in her, or you will not get a single dime from our party. Well, what do you do? You stand on your moral principles or you cave. Well, if you're going to cave, you're not going to get my vote. You're not going to get my vote. And I like people to start saying, you're not going to get my vote, instead of just going for the status quo. So, I kind of made this decision last year. I didn't really have any opportunities that have presented themselves, but I didn't go out of my way and to seek them either. So this sexuality accusation, falsely kind of tension stuff in the United States, this is the way to take out a political figure. If take out just about anybody, if you want to take somebody out and destroy them, is accuse them of some kind of sexual misconduct. And unfortunately, you can usually find something in someone's past in which that they can say that that's what it is, that they can use against you. It's unfortunate. And, it's like, so what? Unless you're hurting somebody, so what? Somebody's willing to come forward, will pay you $1 million for you to say blah, blah, blah. Dr. Ford, she didn't just hire an attorney. She hired an attorney that does this going after somebody for sexual misconduct as being their specialty. $1 million, I don't know how much she charges, but she's not paying her a dime. This attorney is doing it pro bono, flying her wherever she needs to go, paying for the lie detector test that she did on a day of a funeral. Yeah. I didn't wish to go on to this part again, but it's just, the whole thing, it's so unbelievable. It's unbelievable about how it's all kind of unrolled. I mean, someone's paying this attorney her fees and her expenses. So it's just, I had to hire an attorney for my daughter because she got into a fight in school and got arrested. This was 10 or so years ago. And for just to have the attorney show up for an hour, it was like $800. It was like a house payment at the time. And it didn't do any good. I ended up having to he had to come back again. I couldn't pay another $800 for him to come back when we went to court. Again. Nobody's saying, hey, I do pro bono for you, John. Nobody said that. So it's just amazing things. Oh, sure, we'll take care of it. We'll fly you first class to D.C. We'll set you up in a place to stay for a week or so. We'll do all that for you, no problem. We'll take care of it. So at any rate, today's my plan to do a shoot today. Maybe I'll try doing a live YouTube. We'll see. We'll see if I might just forget in the end. But I'm going to be reading books, or somebody here is going to be dressed up in a red suit and reading Christmas stories for my next show on CTSB. So I'm going to be up against this green screen over here, and we're going to shoot video of me reading the stories, and then I'm going to create a show for it, and eventually they'll go on YouTube for the rest of you to see if it all works. Been thinking about this for months. As usual, some of my shows I think about for months. It's a redo of the last year's show that I did. But this year I'm much more sophisticated. Last year I had a window curtain hanging up in front of the refrigerator and freezers. All places to do a mic. And yeah. So 3 cameras shoot. I might do a live just for the fun of it. I might not. It's just, what's the point? It's just another camera to set up. But last year I decided that, doing Santa things, all it takes is one parent to say, "Oh, he touched my kid wrong." Let me tell you, these kids, they're very affectionate. You really have to push them away. I've had one coming in full force for wanting to kiss me on the lips. A little girl I was going like this. I saw her coming in, It's one thing when it's a parent, but it's a whole other thing when it's a kid. So, it's very vulnerable position for anybody. And all it takes is, I'm a nobody. Well, you guys all love me, but, if I was some kind of political figure, I would be a target. Easy target. So, to do a video where I can control the circumstances and it can get seen by, 4 or 5 people on YouTube and some more on BitChute and, I have a new channel on BitChute. Is this the time to tell you guys? It's John G. O'Toole on BitChute. I should do a video of it. It's not that fancy, but everything that I've produced on CTSP are on that channel. So I don't have any of my Folderol stuff that I have on YouTube on the channel. But so we'll see how the video goes. I'm going to be probably shooting for a while. I got 4 hours on each SD card, so I have plenty of time, and I'll edit it and see where it ends up. But to me, that's the safest way to be Santa these days. Either that or I actually charge, so that somebody's getting something in exchange. I'm not doing it for a volunteer. Someone wants me to be Santa at their community Christmas party, they can give me a gift certificate to a local restaurant or Home Depot for $100 or $150 and make it, and they say we can't do that because that's our budget. Then okay, well, you should be able to find another Rent-A-Santa. So, because at least if there's a money exchange, some kind of gift exchange, it'll kind of put a different kind of energy on it than me just throwing myself out there to the wolves and see what lashes back at me. So, anywho, that's my rant for today. Another 8 minutes, so here's 18 minutes of me talking about crap. Ta-ta.